Remind me again why we can't just walk up and knock on the door.
In case you haven't noticed, neither of us could pass for locals. I look like a goat herder, and you look like...
Like what?
Like someone more memorable than we want to be.
Oh, nice recovery.
Yeah, thanks. Coast is clear. I'll go see if he's home. You wait here. I'll signal you just as soon as I think it's safe to.
Excuse me, but why do I have to wait here?
Because I want to be sure he ain't holding a sharp object when you walk through the door.
I'm not afraid of him.
You're not the one I'm worried about.
I'll be on my best behavior.
Well, now see, that's what I'm actually worried about. Come on.
Vortax surprise! Harland Quinn. This is indeed a most unexpected and pleasant surprise.
Hello, Nikolai. I hope I'm not catching you at a bad time.
Perish the thought. An old friend met is like rain after a drought. Words spoken to me by the Empress Chen Wu long ago.
It's good to see you, Nick. Could I,
By all means. Come in, dear boy.
Thanks.
So tell me, what brings you from the blistering sands to my humble abode?
I really wish it was just a social call, Nikolai, but I'm afraid it's not.
Ah, trouble then.
Yeah, you could say that.
Just how bad is it?
Very.
Then you've come to the right place. We shall go forth together, side by side, brothers in arms once more.
Yeah, well, it's funny you should say that, because I ain't exactly alone.
No?
No, he is not.
Chevalceris.
I am not your beloved queen.
Oh, now, Lindy, is there any way to greet...
Do not call me that.
Lyndiss.
Still wearing the same perfume, intoxicating.
Yeah, look, I hate to break up this tender moment with something trivial like, the end of the world, but...
To which world precisely are you referring?
All of them.
The Omega Hex.
Yes.
I've suspected for some time now that things were worse than the Ministry was suggesting.
That is an understatement.
It would seem that you have a story to tell, and, my friends, it just so happens that I have one to tell you.
So that's when we decided to come here. We don't know who they are, but we know they're not messing around.
No, it's quite clear that they're not.
Look, Nick, this whole thing could go sideways in a hurry. I don't have any right to ask you to risk your neck for me again.
There is no adversity I wouldn't face gladly with both of you, if Lyndiss will allow it.
I will.
Good. But I believe the time has come for me to tell you a story. How much do the two of you know about the legend of the Omega Hex?
I saw a play about it years ago. It was one of Garland's tragedies.
Ah, the Mage of Mythlumen. Yes, well, it's riddled with inaccuracies. Much more flight of fancy than historical account. But have a look at this.
Is this?
Francis Garland's own notes, in his own hand. All the threads he spent years gathering together.
Oh, this must be worth a fortune.
Oh, yes. In fact, several, I should think.
I get the historical value, but what does it have to do with more recent events?
Much. Francis Garland was true to one very important historical fact. It did begin in Mythlumen, and, as is so often the case, with noble intentions. You see, even in those ancient times, the high elves of Mythlumen were already bridging the gap between magic and science, seeking to harness the best of both disciplines. As Lyndiss knows all too well, a certain dark sorcerer of the Lost Age, whose name I will not utter, devised a means to twist and transform elves into the creatures we know as orcs. A most clever fellow named Peravin Silric believed that the descendants of those first orcs still carried within them the blueprint, as it were, of their original heritage. Silric thought that if he could only find a way to tap into that deeply buried code, it would be possible to transform orcs back into elves. The endless cycle of war between the races would end not with genocide, but with reunification.
I see what you mean about noble intentions.
Yes, noble, but also misguided. The energy and resources that Silric was expending to transform the orcs would have been better spent trying to understand them instead. Worse still, Silric was meddling with forces he could not comprehend nor hope to control. In trying to unlock the elven sequences in the orc's blueprint, he'd tapped into something much more primal. An alpha particle, which began self-replicating like wildfire in the isolation chamber, deconstructing everything it touched.
And that alpha particle became what we know as the Omega Hex.
So it would appear. Exactly what happened next, and why, is pure speculation. What is certain is that a massive energy pulse of unknown origin killed every living thing for 256 meters in every direction. Silric's hubris had cost him his own life, and the lives of many others. But whatever happened, it also succeeded in stopping the spread of the Omega Hex in its tracks. And so here we are, all on the same page at last.
Yeah, but none of that explains who's trying to kill Lyndiss. It sounds like everyone connected to Silric's work ended up dead as him.
Yes, but by then the process by which he created the Omega Hex was no longer a secret.
What no one knows is how he managed to stop it.
But if somebody managed to figure out that part too...
They'd reap enormous profits on both sides, selling the affliction and the cure.
You do have to admire the brutal genius of such a plan.
And the size of it. I mean, isn't the real question here who has the infrastructure to take on something of this scale?
Certainly they would need to be on the cutting edge of technology.
And have access to extremely powerful mages.
Both of which cost big money. And they need friends in high places.
To give them political cover, yes.
I can only think of one group who could do all that.
Lucentech Industries.
Yes, indeed.
Well, I'm afraid that this just got a lot more complicated.
And much more dangerous.
If we're right, the proof of it will be in Silric's lab, but no one knows where it was.
Many Drow worked there in their early years. It's possible that I might be able to find something very deep in the Underdark archives.
Okay, I'll go with you.
No, you won't.
Damn it, Lyndiss, you're being hunted.
Yes, but now I know that. They missed the only chance they'll get to take me by surprise. Besides, you just slow me down.
It's all right, Harland. Let her go. She'll be fine.
You'll be back here in 1 hour, whether you find something or not.
Agreed.
Nick, you got any clothes that might fit me? I could use something a little more practical.
In fact, I do have something that should fit you perfectly. Well, that is, assuming you've not gained weight. There's soap and a razor, too, if you'd like to freshen up a bit.
FNN continues to monitor the latest news on the Omega Hex anomaly.
Earlier today, an incursion resulted in significant damage and loss of life. We now go live to our field correspondent, Daniel Dean.
1 week ago, this was a rich, verdant plain, home to many farms and several small villages. Today, barely a tenth of the population survives, scratching a living from the barren wasteland that remains. The cause? An incursion of the anomaly whose source remains a mystery. While some report there was no warning prior to the incursion. Area has been completely...
Daniel? Daniel, can you still hear me?
Clever. I don't think you can still hear...
Daniel? Daniel, can you hear me? Do we still have him? We appear to be having technical difficulties. We'll bring you the full report in our evening bulletin. Turning now to the latest updates on the prolonged absence of the Bard Queen. There's been no further word from our office on where she is or when she is expected to resume her public duties. When we return, we'll also have an update on the debate in Parliament surrounding the Gallagher Act. You're watching the Fairlands News Network. We'll be back right after these messages.
Well, Harland, you are certainly looking more like your old self.
I can't believe you kept this stuff.
Yes, I just had a feeling that a day would come when you'd have need of all of it again.
That's a hell of a view you got here.
Isn't it?
How you doing, Nick? You feeling okay?
Yes, of course I am. Why wouldn't I be?
I don't know, I just mean seeing Lyndiss again. Last time you two were in the same room together, things didn't work out well for you.
Oh, my dear boy, one must really be careful when ascribing motivation to action.
Yeah, she stabbed you 3 times.
And missed all of the important stuff. My dear Harland, if that isn't love, then I truly don't know what is.
You trust the Drow?
No, but I do trust Lyndiss.
I just don't want to see you get hurt again.
And I want you to have a little faith, old friend.
A little faith in what exactly?
In the bonds that are shared between misfits like the 3 of us, Harland.
I know where Silric's lab is.
So some good news at last. And by good news, obviously I mean completely terrible news.
Oh, it's much worse than that. They knew just how dangerous Silric's work was, and so they built the lab in the Kalen Valley.
Kalen, that means green, right?
Yes, it's a lush jungle valley of quite astonishing beauty.
Okay, well, that doesn't sound so bad.
It's sustained by a series of hot springs and thermal vents in the most geologically active region of Mithlumen.
And it's surrounded by impossibly high frozen mountains. There's only one passage leading in, and it's blocked by the Gate of Aerith.
The gate is sealed with 9 locks, some of which are mechanical in nature, some of which are magical, and some of which are both.
I could probably open the magical locks, but the mechanical ones?
Even if we had someone with extraordinary mechanical aptitude, they'd be working in total darkness. And worst of all, there's no margin for error. Get one sequence wrong, and... Harland Quinn, I've known you long enough to recognize that look on your face. You have something up your sleeve. So what is it?
Mechanical genius with a talent for working in the dark. I got the perfect guy for this job.
Must add another bottle of special gold top to my shopping list. A packet of them fireberry biscuits wouldn't go amiss neither. 2 for 1 on boots at Pierced and Cut. Oh, hell's teeth. If it's those blooming urchins again. Who are you lot? Why are you knocking on my door?
Biggins, it's me. It's me, Quinn. Come on, Biggins, Quinn. Harland Quinn.
I never heard of you.
Seraph City. Innsmouth. Creepy fish people trying to kill us? Really? Nothing?
Look, I don't know who you are, but you really need to go.
No, wait, Obadiah, we need your help.
Oh, Obadiah, no, you're not looking for me. You're looking for my brother.
Your brother?
Yeah, that's right. My brother's name is Obadiah. My name is Bob.
Bob? I thought your mother always chose biblical names.
Yeah, well, you see, Mum had run out of biblical names by the time I was born, hadn't she?
Okay, I'll play along for now. Could you possibly tell us where we might find your brother?
No, look, if you don't mind, I'd like to get back to reading my paper.
Look, Biggins, you don't understand. This is very important.
Look, I already told you that I ain't Obadiah Biggins. Now, if you lot don't stop bothering me...
Obadiah! What's all that racket then?
You were saying, Bob?
Bloody hell, Mum. Busted.